What's up, guys? Brett Okamoto from ESPN, joined today by UFC lightweight Justin Gaethje. And before we start this conversation, full disclosure, you may have seen it on our social media channels. Justin and I are in the process of partnering on a golf venture called Press, which we're very excited about. But today's focus is the same
Yeah,
it's always been. He and I just talking about his career, talking about what's going on in the UFC. So, Justin, thank you for the time. Thank you for jumping on with me. Obviously, back in March, we watched you get a big win over Rafael Fiziev in Las Vegas. And
yep.
then in June, the UFC fills its vacant title between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. Where do you believe things stand right now in terms of you, the lightweight division, as of today, July 22nd?
Yeah, I think it's I've been talking a lot, saying, what I feel I deserve, what I want. But ultimately, I think this is such a timing thing when it comes down to who's going to fight Ilya next. I think I'm one of, I thought two, but now three, with Max having a big win. It's me, Armin, or Max, I would assume that has to fight him if he's going to fight this year. If he's not going to fight this year, then who knows what's going to happen. But, for me, I've said my piece, and now I just feel like I need to train, work out, and I'm gonna fight these. All of these guys are really good. I'm fighting the best guys in the world, so I know that's gonna be something that's a challenge that I'm gonna have in the future. And I hope it's Ilya. I hope it's in November. I hope it's in Madison Square Garden. That's what I'm planning for. That's what I'm trying to speak into existence. But again, you never know with the UFC, and I can only worry about what I can control, and that's how ready I'll be for my next fight. So, I'm leaving it up to my manager. I think I have the best manager in the world. I think the circumstances, could line up well for me to get that fight, and so that's what I'm preparing for.
You stressing about it at all? Like, is it hard not to think about it, to know
No, I mean,
exactly what you feel like you're deserved? Is it tough not to feel like
yeah,
entitled to something here?
I mean, of course, but again, I have to really, be considerate from all perspectives. I think obviously, from my perspective, I'm biased. I want them to pick me. I want to be the guy that they pick. But there's other guys out there that have the same feelings, same desires. So I think I control what I can control. I mean, I think I've been the most consistent guy that's ever fought for this company,
Yeah.
the most exciting. I've stuck around. Unfortunately for them, I have fought for the belt three times, but I'm still here. I'm still in the top five. I'm still competing with the best guys in the world. And while I'm doing that, that I'm only doing that to fight for the championship fight. And I'm not going to take fight again. I don't want to harp on the whole I did the max thing for them.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a resentful, employee, which we're not employees, but contractor. I don't want to sound like a resentful contractor. I want to again, the platform they've given us is huge. The opportunities I've got to play golf with some of the biggest athletes in the world is huge, and that's probably half of the part because of the platform that the UFC gave me. So I'm just enjoying this life. Every day's a weekend for me. I get to spar today. Feels like a Friday or a Saturday because get to get punched in the face. Do some cardio, and then probably make it onto a golf course. So
You still
I
enjoy,
have nothing to complain about.
yeah, you still enjoying all of that as much as you always have, huh? Like the sparring still gets you up. It's still enjoyable for you, the workouts, everything else. Like is it still what you love to do is to get in the gym and train martial arts? That passion is still there as much as it's always been?
Yeah, yeah. I think the passion is as strong as it's ever been. My desire to compete is as strong as it's ever been. I think my athletic ability. Obviously, I'm going to be the last one to admit that I've lost a step, but I do not believe I've lost a step in any way, shape, or form. I think the game that we play is absolutely insane. I think you have to be prepared and you have to put yourself in positions to be great. Um, and in this sport, that means showing up, putting yourself in these big fights, which I've done consistently, and I'm hoping to do that again and then do something amazing. Best case scenario, best chapter of my book. If it happens, I will believe this is a simulation, but I beat Tapora this year, defend it against Holloway on the White House lawn, and retire with the BMF and the championship belt.
Yeah, that would
There's no
be
better way for me to write it, but I'm a little biased, like I said.
that would be absolutely insane. I mean, when you like, I mean, we're trying to just control what we can control on your side, and not get too tied up with any one potential pathway. But The White House thing, obviously that's a lot of discussions going around about it.
Yeah.
For you, like when you saw that announcement from Trump, I mean, what was your reaction to it? And
Yeah, no, I
obviously, like as a
was. It's weird. It's such a weird game that we're playing because you saw all these people jump online like, oh, like Conor McGregor was Irish. It doesn't make sense. They're all just trying to. It's just a bunch of people, that really want people to pay attention and talk about them. I saw that and I was like, absolutely awesome. That's, a year away. I hope I'm alive then. I hope I'm still competing then. I'm a quarter mile at a time kind of guy, and of course, if that opportunity comes up, that's I'm one of the few and only that has carried our flag and represented this country since I started the sport. It was to represent my town, then my city, then my state, then my college, and for 18 years I've got to represent, or maybe a little less, 15, 16 years, got to represent my country against all these dudes from all over the world. So that's my favorite part. That would be again so perfect that I wouldn't believe this is real. So that's what I'm working for. That's what I'm trying to make happen.
Yeah, that would be insane. And if it came against Max Holloway with the history there, can I go back to real quick to 317? You were in attendance right there, front row for Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. What did you think was going to happen? And then what takeaways did you have? Like, what was your reaction to what happened on that night?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, see, you'd be amazed how many times people ask me what I think's going to happen, and like they really think that I'm going to have some kind of insight. I really have no clue what's going to happen in any of these fights. Same with Holloway and Poirier this weekend. The sport is so insane, and I'm so happy that we can't bet on sports because I am wrong way more than I'm right. And yeah, I didn't have a pick. I was interested to see how the size, would transfer over to lightweight. And yeah, kid looks really really good. Really dangerous. His 2-3 is probably the best one that we've seen, um, definitely this decade. But yeah, it's special. He's got really really good footwork, really good position, and confidence is such a huge factor. And with the confidence he has right now and the momentum, which is also huge factor, is huge. So to fight a guy like that, to steal momentum from him early is important. And yeah, he's dangerous. He's dangerous, and he likes to fight. So it's I think it's a great matchup for anybody. I think obviously they want to keep Armin away from him because Armin's boring as nobody wants to watch Armin fight anybody. And then outside that, Holloway's now obviously they fought before. I think Holloway at 155 is a different animal. And maybe Topuria is too. So I'm excited that these guys have come up to lightweight and made the most exciting division in the world more exciting.
Mhm.
They're both Holloway and Poirier or Topuria, both huge names coming up, and that weight is transferring over well. Their speed is dynamic and faster than what we're expecting and expected, and it's something that we're gonna have to get ready for.
Yeah, when you say his 2-3 is the most dangerous or the best one that you've seen in like a decade, that to me is like interesting because, and it's what makes boxing and mixed martial arts and really all sports like that's what makes it fascinating is you would think of a 2-3 as something fairly simple. Throw a 2-3, What about his makes it look so dangerous? Why is it the best one you've seen in the last
Yeah,
decade, do
well,
you think?
I said I also said that his footwork and his position. I mean, those are the things that set up and put you, give you the ability to deliver shots like that. Not only is he in position to throw those punches, but he's also in position to take punches. Just like we saw him catch that elbow, in the middle of that combination. But his shots were more effective because he was, kind of more expecting it and in position to take that shot and deliver that shot. Uh, yeah, I mean, the battle. I mean, he's in good position all the time, so it's gonna be a battle of footwork. Trying to control his feet, trying to control range, and Oliveira. As we all know, it does get hit a lot, and can be said for a lot of us. But consistently, pretty much him does get hit, and yeah, they were effective. So yeah, I'm excited. Again, I would love for that chance to. This sport's so crazy. I believe that obviously I have the skills. I have the desire. I just need the opportunity to go in there and perform and make something happen.
Yeah. You and Trevor are already talking about it. You like looking at his boxing. I mean, obviously, I think the world of Trevor Whitman. I think the whole sport does, and his
Yeah.
ability to look at Ilia Topuria and break him down. I could have a conversation with Trevor about that right now for probably an hour. Have you guys had those conversations? Have you started to look at that matchup?
Yeah, no. So I mean, you've interviewed me in the past, and I've always told you and kind of harped on that I really have never, you know, as a fan and as a fan of the sport, I love watching him compete, and obviously I watch, all everybody's technique when I'm in there. That's why I like to go to live fights. It's all different. But I'm not gonna ever. I rely on Trevor to watch that fight to determine, the type of style that we would approach that fighter with, and he'll have the conversations that we need to have. But I don't ask specific questions, and he will implement it into our workouts, non-verbally, and that's how I learn, and I think we're all different, and that's how I'll approach it.
So you're standing there and you watch the fight unfold, and then they show you on camera, and then you've talked about Armand, you've talked about obviously Max after what he did over the weekend. You haven't mentioned the name Patty, and I think I'd probably understand why. I mean, according to the rankings, I didn't look at him this morning, but I think he's somewhere around 8 or 10 or something like that. So clearly, from a rankings perspective, he is not deserving of next. But you also know how the sport works and the fact that he gets into the octagon. What were you thinking when all of that unfolded? And do you see him as an opponent just in terms of getting your title shot first? It doesn't sound like it, but do
Yeah.
you? Do you see
No,
it going to
absolutely.
him?
I mean, absolutely not. I mean, if that's the route that they want me to take, then I don't believe that they need me anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds, petty or whatever, but I'm number three. 3-1 in my last four. The champion was calling to fight me. They vacated. They bring a new guy in and give a guy that's 2-2 the fight. Um, so if their algorithm and their math tells them just to use me until I get beat, then I'm gonna have to really reevaluate what I'm doing here, because no, I think I've signed up for a merit based system. I have lived by that, and if they want to give Armin the fight, which Armin shit the bed, had the fight. I had the fight, but I took another fight for them. He had the fight and pulled out because of his back hurt. I mean, those are two different scenarios, and so for me to get put in the same position as him and have to fight for my spot, then no, then I'm gonna be upset about that. Then I mean, I knew that it was a mistake. I knew that it wasn't like the UFC's doing. I knew it was kind of just uh, just kind of what was happening because of the environment,
Hmm.
with Joe calling him in. I was obviously upset. My nephew was there with me. I walked out with, both of my fingers in the air. At first, while he was doing the interview, they were trying to put me and Armin in a camera frame together because I was
Hmm.
trying to exit. He was right behind me, and they were filming him, and I kept moving to get out of the way so they could film him. And then they
Yeah.
kept like readjusting and putting me in frame. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm," like pointing at both of us two, saying he was trying to get us in a frame together. So as Patty and him are in there, they're trying to put me and Armin in a frame, and I was like, "F- you get that camera away from me! You wish that you were gonna do this right now. Like, go yourself."
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
So it's just the directors, everyone's trying to make a show. It's again, I thought it was 100% merit based, but it's completely not 100% that, and I'm okay with that, and I get it. And luckily, I fight so excitingly that it transfers over to being a merit based and performance and entertainment. I'm perfect. Other than on the microphone, outside that, I'm there. But yeah, I think it was just everyone trying to make a show, trying to make a movie, trying to make an episode.
mhm.
Um, and I don't think any of it's going to matter in the future.
Yeah, and I don't like
And I'll be damned if they're going to put me in a frame and set me up like that.
yeah, yeah, and I get it, and it's like I don't want to. I want to be careful how I phrase this next question because I don't want it to sound like it's not. I don't get this sense from you that you're like laying out this ultimatum of like I get a title fight or I retire, and sometimes that's how people interpret it or that's how it's like promoted. That's how people put it into headlines. But I guess my question to you is, and I know you're not really trying to think about it, but have you made peace with the possibility that you won't fight again? Like, do you feel like you've gone through
Yeah,
that part of
I don't
it?
even want to. I don't even want to entertain that conversation because, like I said, I have all the desire to compete. So
Yeah.
if I felt that in any way, then I would be done here. Um, I just want to, obviously, from a bias perspective, be recognized as the most consistent and one of the top guys in the world. I did what I did. If you want me to, how many more fights do I have to? If I fight fights where if they win to get a championship and I win and it's still I'm maybe gonna have to fight someone else. Like these are not this. This is not the situation I wanted to get myself in, and this is the situation I'm going to keep myself from. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, yeah. Last thing for you, you were there front row for that fight last weekend, and obviously all of us were. I mean, we were there for a fight, but we were also there to see Dustin Poirier's last walk. Um, what were
Yeah,
your thoughts on Saturday watching that fight?
yeah. No, I mean, and again, with me being towards the end of this journey, like if there's a timeline, it's not the beginning. I'm happy for him.
Mhm.
I'm very, very happy for him. I was hoping that, that neither one of them got seriously injured. I'm kind of glad it was as much as I love knockouts, I'm kind of glad nobody got knocked out, because I have so much respect for both these guys. They've been around for so long. I think it was crazy that, Max Holloway's first fight in the UFC was Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier's last fight in the UFC was Max Holloway. So as a fan of the sport, those are the things that I was kind of, reminiscing about as they were walking out. And then again, just kind of understanding, what Dustin has been for the sport. The kind of underdog story that his story really is. To come in at, he couldn't have been more than 22, 21, 22 years old. To come in there, to start at the bottom of the pay scale when nobody was getting paid, when nobody was getting paid nothing. He's probably making $3,000, $4,000 back then if he lost.
Yeah,
Um, And so to do that, come fight for the championship so many times, to get the biggest company in the world to design a show around you and for you is special. That means you're special,
yeah,
and he is special. He's been special for many years, and I'm like I said, I'm happy that he gets to do be a dad, be a husband, grow some plants. Who knows what he wants to do? I don't know. But live life and enjoy life without every 3, 4, 5 months having to be the most um what is the inconsiderate person in the
yeah,
world to
yeah.
everybody around you.
You looking to grow some plants and start a garden when you
I
retire? Is
already
that why I
have all
said
that. I got
that?
no wife, no kids. So I got time for that now.
Man, thank you so much for the time, bro. I appreciate it. I'm eager to see
Yeah,
what's going to happen. I when you lay it out, can you imagine if you fought at MSG? Let's say you won the belt, and then your last fight was at the White House against Max Holloway, and
yeah,
then
no.
I have to ask. Last thing is, what if like the end of the final moments of your career were right back to this? Like I got to ask you what you feel like when you see Max Holloway go like this, and you know that Dustin's going to meet him in the middle, and having done that yourself, like
Yeah, I mean, for you guys, I mean, I get it, and even me, but that's those 10 seconds are no different than the first 10 seconds or the
yeah,
middle 10 seconds.
yeah,
Like you have to be perfect. In that moment when I was fighting, specifically, I was losing, and again, when he pointed the ground, I nod my head and ran there because I'm there to win. I'm there to
yeah.
compete. I'm there to fight until the last second, and literally I got knocked out in the last second. Um, yeah, I don't know. I would probably hit a. If he does it again, I'm gonna blast double A him. Yeah, because he's so dangerous then.
Yeah, yeah,
He's lucky. Yeah, I mean, he's dangerous all the way around. I mean, the kid is different at 55. I mean, his power really translates over. Had him on skates multiple times. His 4 or 5 punch combinations are really, really effective. So it's cool.
yeah.
I'm really excited. If they were offering me that fight right now, I would take that because anytime I get a chance to fight somebody that beat me, I want that.
Hmm.
But again, we're gonna see what the timing is, and what route the UFC wants to go, and then we'll see what's up.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we'll let you get to sparring. We'll let you get to golf. Really appreciate the time, bro.
All right. Peace.